I have to mention this, and I'm sure that here we go. She thinks, I know what's coming now.
I'm fully prepared.
I'm sure that most interviews you do, they will ask you about the Spice Girls. Now we know a little bit more. Correct me if I've got this wrong. You've categorically said that you will have nothing to do with any Spice Girls reunion. Why?
That makes it all sound so negative. Well,
it is a bit, really, isn't it, if you said no to your old pals?
Yeah, well, you know, it's complicated. We did reunite in 2009, all five of us, and it was incredible. We toured here in America, we did a couple of dates over in Europe, and you know, for me, that was our reunion, and then that led us to be able to do the Olympics in London in 2012, and you know, it was so fantastic, that reunion tour, because we really reconnected, we became really good friends again, we really enjoyed everything, all of our successes, because back in the 90s it was so crazy that kind of by the end of it we were all so burnt out. We just needed to go our separate ways, so it was a lovely way to bring us together, to celebrate, to go out there and have fun with the fans again. Then, of course, a lot of pressure started mounting for the 20th anniversary, which was this year. Wannabe was 20, Spice, the album, is 20 this year.
21st next year.
21st next year. And, you know, I did get together with the girls, and Victoria had already bowed out. You know, everybody's fully aware of how busy and how successful she is. And, you know, and we all respect that. So I went along to a few meetings with Melanie, Emma and Jerry. And, you know, it just didn't sit comfortably with me. You know, I felt like the Olympics was such a highlight of my...
Leave it on that high instead of keep coming back.
Yeah, and, you know, and Victoria's not there. And you know, for me, I know Jerry did leave in 98, and, you know, she had her reasons, and that's all water under the bridge, but we were at the Olympics, it was five of us, it was glorious, and I kind of, for me, I feel like I'd like to leave my memory there.
I can understand that. I also think it's a bit sad that the three of them are going ahead with this new name. What is it?
Well, I think...
Is it
Gem. The three of them at the moment. You know,
it's kind of like, well, that Gem, it's not the spine. Either do it five or don't.
You know,
what do you think?
You can't... You know, you have to respect what people want to do. And, you know, I've worked with Brian May quite a lot. And, of course, you know, very sadly, they lost Freddie. Yeah. But, you know, him and Roger wanted to continue. And so, you know, who's to say you can't? You should be able to do whatever you want. And, you know, and I do feel bad. It was a really hard decision. And, you know, all of my apologies go out to, you know, to the girls. You know, I'm sure they'd rather I was there with them, and the fans that I'd like to see me there. But, you know, I'm 42, I'm a mother, and I have to do what's right for me.
Oof. All this stuff, though, I mean, has this now made things rather awkward between you all? You know?
I mean, obviously, it's a bit awkward because, you know, the girls would rather I was doing it. But
talks.
But tote talks.
Tote talks.
But you know, when we sat down in our initial get-togethers, you know, we all said we absolutely respect what everybody wants. We're grown-ups now. We're mums. Do you know what I mean? We have far greater responsibilities, you know, being parents. So, of course, we respect each other. But, you know.
This from the news this week. Mel B has refused to apologise after calling Mel C and Victoria Beckham bitches for not joining the Spice Girls reunion. Brazen, Mel! She's brazen!
You know, I get it. She was on James Corden's show in America.
Yeah, she was.
And, you know, and I've done it myself. You know, you say things for comedic...
Grab the headlines as well, done it?
She didn't mean it.
You're not. Scary, along with Jerry Halliwell. That's wrong. It's not a name anymore, is it?
No.
Emma Bunton said they'd tour and call themselves something else. I'm not going to mention it anymore. We've got your answer. That's good enough for me. I saw you a few years ago, and it stuck with me, with the North East Sarah Millican. Do you remember when you went on her chat show? And you've got to be quite brave to go on something like that, because she will, well, take the mick, won't she?
I love Sarah. She's such a lovely lady.
She really is. And I think Sarah asked you about Victoria's smile or something. Why does she never smile? And you answered it very well. And you said Victoria's pout was her armour.